Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is News and Week in Review, where we're going to dive through a variety of news pieces, the videos and games we've covered this past week, all of that and more, links and timestamps to everything down below. We're going to start off, though, with our giveaway winner. About 3 weeks ago, I did a board game upgrades video where we were giving away a Primal tracker. We is really One Sharp Joe. One Sharp Joe was kindly giving away a Primal health tracker, if I recall correctly. But anyways, the winner to that is Largely Subatomic. Largely Subatomic, you are the winner for that. I will hopefully comment on your comments shortly, but if you see this first, please go ahead and reach out to me at alex@boardgameco.com. Email is the only good communication for this. Anyone replying to your comments telling you that you are a winner and that you should message them on WhatsApp, they are lying to you and they want your money in some way, shape, or form. But Largely Subatomic, please reach out to me at alex@boardgameco.com. I will reply to your comment using my username, not my username with a bunch of weird letters at the end of it. And good luck, or congratulations. Congratulations, good luck already happened. Congratulations, Largely Subatomic. With that, we're going to dive into the variety of news pieces over here, starting off first and foremost with Gama Expo. Board Game Wire did an article on Gama Expo, which has seen tremendous growth over the past few years. There's 3,400 people attended Gama Expo, up 26% from last year, and up 67% from the previous 2,000 that it was while at Reno. So in general, Gama Expo so far has been seeing tremendous success since its move to Kentucky. There's a lot of controversy around that too. There's a lot of people who don't want it there, but it has overall been better for attendance and getting people there. I think the location is just more reachable, although it will be moving in a few years. There are several locations that I think they are still choosing from. Gama Expo, in case you don't know, is more of an industry convention, so it's more focused on if you're a retailer, designer, distributor, media, publisher, any of those kinds of things. It's meant specifically for industry people to network with industry people. Moving on, we have CMON. CMON has the Adventurers. The Adventurers is coming, well, to be clear, I think this is the Adventurers. CMON has a post on their page where they say, "The Adventurers, coming soon to GameFound. The quest for hidden treasures begins in the heart of danger." Now, The Adventurers was a series of 2 games from a while ago, so we'll see more what this is, whether this is even that at all, or whether it's something new in that line, or whether it's reprints. Not quite clear yet, but something coming to you from CMON. Possibly, I mean, the font looks like The Adventurers, so I'm pretty sure it's The Adventurers, but we shall see. That'll be coming to GameFound, I guess, sometime soon. But before you get too excited about that, make sure to also read this article on Board Game Wire about board game crowdfunding major CMON issues profit warning. Board game crowdfunding major CMON issues profit warning, says losses could exceed $2 million. This is a breakdown of CMON's finances done by Board Game Wire. Basically, they issued a bit of a statement saying, hey, we have losses for 2024. I would say both things are true. I had someone ask me about this on my live stream. I would say both things are true when it comes to this. The first is, this is hardly the first time that people have cried the sky is falling around CMON. There was a huge thing a few years back when they had announced losses and people were like, it's over, it's done, and 5 years later nothing's really changed. So on the one hand, this is not a doom and gloom announcement for CMON, not in the slightest. They still are doing fine, lots of revenue, they have losses. On the other hand, it's certainly a small extra cautionary note. If you are in any way risk averse to backing their campaigns, this is another small little peg in that risk averseness. Do not back any games you can't afford to lose, even more so when there's blips, and this is certainly a blip. So just be mindful as you back further CMON campaigns. But again, I don't think it's actually an issue. But the problem is, if it is an issue, this would be one of the warning signs. Past that, speaking of upcoming crowdfunding campaigns, we have Helldivers. We have Helldivers 2, the board game. Coming to you from Steve Wars Games, this was just announced. 14,000 people following the campaign already. Say hello to democracy. April 8th, 2025. Helldivers 2, the board game from Steam Forge Games, designed by Derek Funkhauser and, oh my gosh, I can't remember his name offhand. I apologize. But designed by two people who have done a bunch of other games. But anyways, Helldivers 2, this is a re-implementation or a board game version of the video game. A video game that I bounced off hard, by the way. I tried getting into Helldivers because everyone was raving about it. I jumped in for 20 minutes and I was like, I don't understand the hype. It just seems like... Anyways, Helldivers is not for me. That's not the point, neither here nor there. Maybe it's better if you do it like a full-on couch co-op or a regular online co-op with your friends. I did it with one other person and just wasn't feeling it, but that might just be a B problem. Anyways, the board game I'm sure I'll try out though, and see if this one does any better for me. And then lastly, no, not lastly, almost lastly, we have Risk 2210 Frontline expansion. This is a collection of expansions that were released in like tournament forms over the years for the original Risk 2210, and Renegade is releasing it as a full expansion that is taking you to Mars, your terraformed Mars, so it's terraforming Mars Risk, effectively, but not really, but with a collection of new expansions for Risk 2210. And then lastly, we have Twa. Twa is possibly coming with a reprint to crowdfunding in 2026 with art by Ian O'Toole. So Twa, which is one of my favorite games, is getting an updated version. I don't know the exact level of the upgrade past the art, but there will be some new content, and yeah, keep your eyes peeled. If you're a fan of Twa, as I am, keep your eyes peeled. There's a lot of, like, this whole thread on BGG has a lot of people going back and forth as to whether they're happy about the new art or very upset because they like the original version. Honestly, I'm fine with the original version as far as the art goes, but I do wish there was a full-on upgraded deluxeified edition. Like Puerto Rico. I've been playing Puerto Rico recently, and it is amazing how much better that game is when it looks good on your table. Like, nothing against the original Puerto Rico. I guess something against the original Puerto Rico, but I think it looks not great. I think it looks very, very, very blah. And I love the new, well, love is a strong word. I really am enjoying a lot the new Puerto Rico, and then I went to play it on BGA with the old art, and I was like, I'm just not feeling this. I'm not feeling this at all. So art does make a difference to the experience, although art is, of course, subjective. And with that, that is our news of the week, which brings us to our Creator Spotlight. For our Creator Spotlight, some small background. First, I spent last week at Gama. I spent 2 weeks ago at Gama. Last week, I was at Atom 2025. It's a small convention put on by Queen Games, Inside Up, and Eagle Griffin Games. And it's less of a convention, more of a retreat, where they bring together a bunch of content creators, take the opportunity over the next few days to show them their games, so you get like kind of guided walkthroughs, demos of all their games, and it's half fun and bonding, and half getting to know and prep for games, so you can talk about those games. But along the way, I met a bunch of content creators who I hadn't yet met, and now obviously if you're anyone else at Atom, there are so many people there, so I'm just picking one here and there. I will be picking others, but they'll be here and there over the next whatever. But one particular person that I happened to meet for the first time was Nashville board game guy, Stephen Arthur. He is someone who was a delight to interact with at Atom, always happy to teach a game. He's one of those people who's happy to teach a game and then not play the game he just taught. Always, just in general, a smile on his face, a good personality. He's someone that I did not have the pleasure of knowing until this trip, but I just think that his content, both in terms of his actual content over on Instagram, if you check it out, you can see a solid 6-minute video of Atom from him, as well as just highlights of various games played at Atom, as well as his regular content. He just played and lost horribly at Nemesis Lockdown, from my understanding. That was not Atom, that was after Atom, so it's not my fault. But anyways, Stephen Arthur is a delightful personality. I don't know, frankly, because I met him first and now I'm only meeting him through his content, I would say I don't know how much of his personality carries through into his content yet. I'll let you know in a few weeks. But I will say that he is a delightful human being, and his content so far in the past, week that I've been looking at it has been engaging enough that I wanted to go ahead and shout him out. And so that is our Creative Spotlight, Nashville Board Games guys, Nashville Board Game guy, Nashville Board Game guy, Stephen Arthur. And with that, we're going to go ahead and stop this part and go into our week in review. Covering, first of all, we're going to have the videos of the past week that we covered, and then we'll go through the games. For our videos, games are videos too, but I separate the two sections. For our videos, we have on Sunday, we had What Makes a Review a Review. This is actually a video I filmed a while ago, but finally went up this past week. There's always a lot of videos in the vault, and they go up at different points, but What Makes a Review, basically trying to go through the conversation of what does it take to call something a review? What is the nature of a review? How all-encompassing does it have to be? It was inspired by a comment on my Elden Scrolls review a while ago. The person actually commented on the video as well. I need to comment back, so if you're seeing this, I need to reply to your comment, but it was not a hostile comment in any way. It's just somebody was questioning the nature of how much you have to play through something before you review it, and so I did a video on that. I've done videos on this before, but this is a new one that I did more recently, and it just went up this past Sunday. I welcome you to join the conversation. I always think these things are fascinating. Even just seeing the diversity of comments is fascinating, because there's a lot of people, like one particular comment that stuck out to me was somebody talking about, like, hey, you don't have to, fly every single flight on an airline to be able to review that airline, and then 7 other examples that were all excellent examples. And there's a lot of people who are in that vein, understanding of the nature of when something has to be all comprehensive or not, and then other people felt things should be more comprehensive, because I dabbled in a lot of topics in that video, worth watching if you enjoy these types of conversations, and I always value your opinion. Then from there we had best games of 2023. The 10 best games or 15 best games of 2023. This is one of my look back videos. Again, at the beginning of each year, I do a series of videos looking back at the year prior, and this was me revisiting 2023's best games with mostly the same, but a few changes along the way. We had the month in review going up on Friday. This was a live month in review, as well as the games being added to my collection. Both of those went up on Friday. The games that are being added to my collection was a under 5-minute video, because only 2 games were added. I added Link City and Rise of Myths Cthulhu. Both of those were being added. Outside of that, I did a live month in review where we dabbled in partially a month in review and partially leaning into whatever conversation came up, which is always something I should be more careful of, but I won't be more careful of. Anyways, that is basically the videos of the week, and from there we go into the games covered. Now I'm actually going to cover the games covered from the past 2 weeks, because I did not do a full proper week in review last week, so I'm going to be going through a bit more. Starting off 2 weeks ago Saturday, we had a review from Manatee Sanctuary. I overall enjoy the puzzle, but I find it is a little bit too thinky for a filler game, and so it falls into a weird spot for me. I would always happily play it, but ultimately I came in at a 3.5 out of 5. Daybreak is another one that I reviewed. I love Daybreak. I will say Daybreak, I had a few comments of people who were saying how it plays out the same, which was honestly my biggest critique in the video, was how it falls into similar patterns, but so far I'm still enjoying those patterns. I just started a new game a few days ago. I'm still enjoying those patterns of the game, and so for right now, Daybreak is one that I'm very much enjoying. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. It is possible that changes over time. Generally, I find when I call out doing a review that there's a degree of sameness to the experience. I do find that over time, usually, but not always, those are the games that dip half a point or a full point over time. But for right now, still loving Daybreak. From there, we have Crafting the Cosmos. I did a review of Crafting the Cosmos on Tuesday. This is a new title from Office Dog Games. I overall love the premise of this, what this is doing, but the more I played it, the more it had some issues along the way. Both small issues in terms of gameplay, issues in terms of fiddly components. Ultimately, I came in at a 3 out of 5. Would have been a 3.5, but the component issues pushed it down to a 3 for me. It's just annoying fiddling with your table. Watch the review, check it out. But other than that, it is a good game. Like, there are lots of interesting elements going on, but it fell a little short for me. Later on Tuesday, there was a review for Dionysis, or Dionysis, I always forget how to pronounce it, but this is a small button-shy game, a little 2-player back-and-forth drafting game of lining up cards and scoring them. I enjoyed it. It's fine. I just like other button-shy games over it, specifically Skulls of Sedlic, but others as well. I found it was medium in the range of button-shy 2-player scoring games. Then there was a How to Play Black Orchestra from Asaf over at Easy Board Games, covering how to play the Black Orchestra board game. Then we're covering Tidal Blades. They had an unboxing for Tidal Blades as well. This is Tidal Blades 2, Rise of the Enfolders. Meg and I did a shared unboxing of it. Specifically, most unboxings I do myself. Occasionally I'll loop my kids, and then once in a while Meg will show up if she's excited enough about a game, which I think happened with Cthulhu Death May Die. And then Tidal Blades 2 was actually the first game that's how we originally met, because we were doing content together for Jude City on Tidal Blades 2. Then from there we have Aeons End Legacy, a review of Aeons End Legacy, which is, I guess, technically overdue because it's an older title, but Meg loved it. She gave it a 4.5. I think she might have given it a 5. She might have given it a 5. I need to double check that. I think she gave it a 5. For myself, I came in at a 3.5. It's fine. I enjoy it. I like the game, but it's not one I need to dive into. I find, for whatever reason, Aeons End, as well as the offshoot version of it that I always forget the name, both of them are very good games, and I like the offshoot version a bit more, but there's elements of both that I like more, and I kind of wish you could combine it into what would be the perfect game for me. Well, not perfect, but a much better game for me. Then from there, we had a review for Compile. Compile, I had a review going up, I want to say on Saturday. There was a review this past Saturday, there's a review for Typewriter from Fowers Games. It bounced off that one a little bit. I'd rather just play paperback. But then there's a review later that day for Compile. Compile is one that I do very much enjoy. This Compile 1, I guess, technically, like it's the first set in the system, but I like Compile a lot. I think it's a lot of fun, very much a good lane battling system, games like Air, Land, and Sea. I don't know longevity-wise where it'll be. For right now, I'm still enjoying it a lot, and I'm happy to keep diving into it and playing it more, but I do think that it's a little more chaotic in a way that Air, Land, and Sea has an elegance to it that I adore, and Compile, the trickiest part of it is I think that people who know the game better are at an advantage over people who don't know the game as well. well. Like Airline and Sea, it takes 2 games and you're caught up. Compile, I think it takes a little more than that to really be on the same playing field, and that is something that has over time been a death knell in some games, at least for me. Then there was a review for Valkyrie. Valkyrie, a Black Orchestra game. This is a shorter version of Black Orchestra that went up on Tuesday, but it's basically a shorter, more distilled version of the original game. I have not played Black Orchestra yet. I might be able to before the end of the campaign. We shall see. But Valkyrie is a smaller, more accessible version of that core concept, and I liked it. I gave it a 3.5. It's a fun, simple game, a lot of dice rolling. It's not a game that's going to absolutely knock it out of the park with me, but it is a game that I've had fun going through it and trying to kill Hitler. Then there's Fate of Venterra. We did I think there's a gameplay, if I'm not mistaken. It was either a gameplay or a preview, I can't recall, of Fate of Venterra that went up this past week. We filmed it a while ago, which is why I don't recall, because we've had both. But I think we had one of them a few months ago up, and then one went up this past week. Overall, Fate of Venterra is kind of like a more of an area control RTS style game. Overall, enjoyed it. Definitely had fun with it. Instinctively, I'd rank it a 3.5 out of 5. This was sponsored content, though. Did not do a review for it. Just giving you my general loose thoughts on the game. Then I did a review for Federation. Federation, was this week? Was Federation this week? I guess so. But Federation went up this week. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoy Federation. There are some small elements that held it back for me. It's one of those games that I would happily play on Board Game Arena anytime, but I don't feel the need to own the physical copy. There's a few small things that held it back as far as the experience I'm looking for when I weigh it up against the other Euro games I could otherwise play. Federation is great, to be very clear. 4 to 5 is moving into like a great game category. Just 4 to 5s don't always last because I have too many games that I want to play, and there's too many games that would be a 4 or higher. At this point, like my top 100 at this point is comprised of 4.5 and higher. So like nothing even makes my way to top 100 if it's not a 4.5, which just means that not all 4s do stay in my collection. Although speaking of which, we had a review for Hutan. Hutan went up on this past Thursday. I really enjoyed Hutan. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 for right now. Again, it's one of those games that I did mention there's a lack of variability to the experience that might hold it back over time. I would guess that there's a chance it drops down half a point over time, but for right now, it is currently a 4.5. I've been loving it a lot, both multiplayer as well as solo. And then from there, there's a review for Peninsula later on Thursday. Peninsula is a game that I would not look at twice, but I really enjoyed it. I played it because the creator is the creator of Clans of Caledonia, and I really enjoyed playing through Peninsula. It's a very solid exploratory roll and write or draft, flip and write style game. Definitely worth checking out if you like that kind of thing, but very thinky, very brain burnery, and very rewarding. And that is basically all the games we've covered the past 2 weeks, which brings us to today. Today there'll be a review going up for Star Explorer from Queen Games, as well as Scales of Fate, the upcoming IV Games project, launching this Tuesday. Later next week, we're going to have a bunch of things. We should have a ranking Chip Theory Games video. We should have 2 back or not to back. I missed last week. I meant to film it last week, and by the time I got back from everything I was doing, I just didn't have it in me to go ahead and power through it. So I skipped 2 back or not to back last week. Apologies for that. This week we should hopefully have it, but I'll also have the games I most want to play, like I have a series of 3 videos of games I'm trying to play in 2024, 2025, and the last one should be going up this Wednesday. And with that brings us to the games on the couch. Speaking of games I want to play, these are games I hope to play over the next week. We have Rajas of the Ganges, Cards and Karma. I got a chance to see this one at Gama. Looked pretty straightforward. Looks like it's a good, quicker implementation of Rajas of the Ganges. I doubt it will replace the original, which I love, but I am interested in trying it out. We have Alte, Dawn of Civilization, which is from Ares Games. I've heard mostly good, but slightly mixed things in this game, but I do want to give it a shot and see if I enjoy it. We have Hamburg City Collection, which I had a chance to play this one at Adam, but I want to play it more. I want to try some of the modules, and I will have a review and or comparison video of this and Bruges for you. I will not spoil my thoughts too much in it right now, but you will get that at some point. And then lastly, I would hope to be covering Onward very shortly. I've had a chance to play this one once already, but they have a crowdfunding campaign coming up very, very soon, so I need to play it a few more times, and I hope to be doing that, well, actually, hopefully today I'll be playing it. Anyways, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have an excellent week. And as always, I hope you have a good one.